Hey everybody, it's geekbeatradio. We're on the MAGWest stream, OMG. Always wanted to go to MAGWest. Didn't get a chance to ever go to MAGWest because it was always during my busy season. And, well, there's no busy season right now because it's a pandemic and I'm a stagehand and there are no events, which is why MAGWest is virtual. And so we were able to be involved. And I'm super, super happy to have our guests that we have with us here today. We have a mild technical issue, which I will explain. But for now, Jeremy, why don't you just throw us on the 5-person screen with everybody, all of us. Let's just jump right into it. And then I'll explain our mild tech issue. We are joined today by Mark Hosler of Negativland, Jason Scott of textfiles.com and archive.org. And we're joined by Glowmag, bottom down there with the splatter shirt. And Jeremy, my tech and co-host.
This just your line just went dead, so I'm calling you back.
Oh yes, yeah, I accidentally hung up on Mark. So there's our tech issue. I got you now, Mark. So Mark can only hear me through the phone for some reason. We couldn't figure that out. But so it's going to be kind of a splintered interview.
Everybody can hear everybody else, and Mark can't hear any of us.
Oh.
So Mark is just going to do whatever the hell he wants, which, frankly, to me, fits totally in with Negativland. So anybody here who has not heard Negativland, this is exactly what they sound like. This is what the band sounds like. There's no difference. It's perfect. The most confusing thing for people who are watching is it's Negativland, Negativland, no E, .com.
Awesome.
Got you back now. So the way we're dealing with this is I have Mark on a phone call, and I'm talking to him that way, and everybody else is on the vMix call. But we can hear Mark on the stream, so that's good.
Yes, and this means I can show you that my phone looks like a matzo cracker.
Oh wow!
I see it.
Yeah.
That's what he went with, matzo cracker.
When we had our 10-year anniversary, I got a lot of messages from people that I was doing it during Yom Kippur, and they couldn't attend. And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't look ahead 10 years when I premiered my radio show."
You need to plan ahead.
All right, so
just
Lots
like
of
we did
matzo.
for today.
Yeah. So here's the deal, everybody. Negativland has been doing this for literally decades. And if you're not familiar with Negativland, I would really appreciate it if you went and checked them out. They have a new album coming out, and there's a video that we're eventually going to show in this. And Jason and Mark have known each other for quite some time, and I saw some parallels between the kind of work that the two of them do. And we don't have a lot of time for this discussion, but I felt like hearing from both of them would definitely enrich MAGWest. Because, in my opinion, music and gaming doesn't always have to be music about gaming. And nerds like a lot more than music and games. And so these two people are very relevant to what MAGWest does. So here's my question. I guess I'll ask Jason first, and then I'll move on to Mark, because Mark is giving us a wonderful soundtrack for our conversation. So I don't want to stop him. But
hey, it's free.
This will be the question for both of you, though. The question is this. There's more information, of course, in the world than ever before, and there's more problems in the world than ever before. So how do you decide what to focus on? Because I feel like back when you started archiving things and with the BBS website and all that stuff, Jason, you were just kind of grabbing everything. But if you grabbed everything at this point, I don't see how you could keep up. So how do you decide what's important enough for you to capture and save, and how do you deal with the legalities of it all. Of course, that library thing that just happened with archive.org recently was somewhat of an issue. And so how do you make these decisions so that you keep yourself out of trouble but still stick your toe over the line? Because that's what you do, is you push things.
Well, first of all, congratulations, because somehow you just gave me a 30-minute question you want me to answer in a minute and a half, because I know how you work. So first of all, I fundamentally disagree that there's more problems than ever before. It's actually life's pretty good. But one of the things that I was doing when I was doing bulletin boards and stuff with textfiles.com before I moved to archive.org was picking up everything I was able to find, and it was self-selecting because it was whatever people thought was important enough to put on a bulletin board. And there's a lot of automatic acquisition of material now. And at archive.org, the short form of your answer is we let society assist in choosing. So things that are linked from like Reddit or from Twitter or YouTube videos that are highly watched. And we make sure that there's a record of these things that were important enough for people to find, that they were able to get it back to them if we ever lose it, because we lose so much that comes online. Like, that's how we do it. As for your question about the phrase I use is ask for probation instead of permission. There's simply too many transactions for us to ask permission each time, so we respect requests for things to go down. I can't comment about the legal case we're in, but just for the record, we're in legal cases on and off all the time. Like, we just don't hear about them because they're boring. But this one happened to hit the news. It's all, though, in the service of providing people with as much information as possible. So Gaming Alexandria uploads all of their scans to us. I oversee a bunch of emulation and magazines and stuff that's of interest to the MAGFest community, interviews and podcasts and everything else. Whatever we can bring up and make it available to people, that's kind of within the realm of our mission. When I started there, we just had broken 10 petabytes, that is to say 10 million megabytes, and now we're well past 80. So we're into grabbing as much data as possible, on the order of something between 20 and 40 terabytes a day. So even if we're only grabbing a piece of the sun, it's still pretty bright. So I encourage people who are watching this to visit archive.org, where, among other things, we have over 1,200 hours of Negativland radio shows, which is part of what we also deal with. Now go over to the more interesting guy, Mark Hosler.
Okay.
There's actually 4,000 hours, I think, now. I think
Are we there? We have
4,000.
Yeah, I think it is.
My goodness.
It's our radio show. It's and thanks to we'll eternally grateful to Jason for being the connection, the liaison, to make it all happen so that we could archive 34 years of Negativland's live mixed collage radio show Over the Edge, going back to 1981. And we still have more shows we've been finding hidden in various places to put up. But yeah, there's literally thousands of hours of our life's work are all up there, all endlessly streamed for free. Yeah.
Most people probably don't have enough time to go through what would be the extended Negativland catalog, including all the radio programs and side projects and unreleased stuff. But my same kind of question goes to you, Mark, is now that the world has gone crazy, and I know that Negativland doesn't always make a political statement, but you're always trying to make people think. And how do you choose what to focus on these days when there's so much to focus on? I just want to go full screen and watch Mark play wacko guitar. But so how do you?
People think. We're trying to make people not trying to make them do it. We're not trying to make them do anything, but we're like encouraging it, I suppose. We could say that. We're encouraging it. Yeah. And I would say that, no, the world has the same amount of problems it's always had. I would actually not argue. Yeah. We don't have any more. We have as many problems as there are human beings on the earth. So maybe there's more because of that. Maybe there's there's 7.5 billion problems now when there used to be, when I was born, there were 3 billion problems.
Just call everybody on Earth a problem. Just use problem instead of human.
But yeah, just so say, your question is, how do we pick?
Yeah, how do you decide what to focus on when there's so many different options? And then how do you shake off any sort of complainers, or you're borrowing a lot of people's stuff very consistently, and you seem to have worked it out that you don't really get sued every day. So how do you balance that? Do you base your decisions on what you choose to focus on in any case based on whether or not you'll get away with it, or do you just worry about that later like Jason does? You worry about it later.
We would never worry. No. Yeah, we would never worry about any of it. It's always, what is this saying about, don't ask, don't ask permission, just seek forgiveness. That old saying.
Ask forgiveness.
I think that people often get it kind of backwards with our work. Is that as kind of, obviously we're not doing love songs, right? And we're dealing with, like the new album we're about to put out is about artificial intelligence, data collection, surveillance, digital assistants like Siri and Alexa, 5G networks, paranoid thinking around technology that people have it people seem to either think technology is going to save us and rescue the world, or it's going to kill us. We're sort of dealing with those two extremes. That's what the album's a deep dive into all of that stuff, and probably kind of an odd topics for a so-called band to pick. But going back to our very first record, which came out 40 years ago, we've just always been kind of organically and intuitively drawn to making stuff about, as the deceased, dearly departed and deceased Don Joyce once said, that Negativland makes art about all of the things we aren't supposed to notice. And I always thought that was a really beautiful way of putting it. But that's just what we're drawn to. We're also just drawn to weird, funny, strange, just the strange detritus and ephemera of American mass culture. The banal, bizarre, hilarious, sad, pathetic, ridiculous, amazing, idiotic. It's all of that stuff draws our attention, and somehow we find a path. And that's one reason why we're not always that prolific, because it can take us a while to kind of find enough threads that are really genuinely interesting to us, and that we feel like we have something to say about it in a creative work. And after doing this for as many decades as we have, we always want to be sure that the only reason we're releasing anything new is because we actually feel like there's something we want to say about it. We're not just producing more Negativland product just because that's what we do. We would never do that. So the new record is actually a sequel to a record that came out a year ago called True False, which kind of dealt with a broad range of subjects to do with making sense of our modern world. This again is the sequel is kind of like the deep dive into technology. So it comes from a much more organic and intuitive and really heartfelt place, actually, when we make this stuff.
Yeah, well, when I was younger, I was in we always called ourselves a joke band. We called ourselves Pizza, and we were just a collage of sounds and noises that sometimes made you think, maybe not as hard as pizza. Yeah, we actually have myspace.com/pizza. We still have it. But we were very inspired by your music, and whether or not you were trying to make us think, you definitely did. Now, the world will decide is going to be coming out on November 13th. You will be able to get it. And we're fortunate enough to have a video that we can show you from that album right now before we go ahead and have a performance, a very brief performance from GlowMag. Is there anything you want to tell us about this video before we throw it up on the screen, Mark?
It's called Don't Get Freaked Out, and thank you so much for showing it, because no matter, I can talk, forever about our work, but if anyone wants to know what we actually do, you got to actually hear it or see it. And this is made working with our amazing video collaborator, Ryan Worsley, in Los Angeles, and just got finished a few weeks ago. It's very new. So,
okay.
and you'll
all right.
You'll get what it's about when you hear it and you see it. Trust me.
Yeah. Seeing this is really the best explanation for what Negativland does.
Jeremy, can I
yes.
tell you about my guitar? Or tell me what I can?
Please.
Do it. Do it. Yeah.
This guitar was bought for me with blue chip stamps by my parents when I was 10 years old. It's heard on the very first Negativland record. And the reason it's got all this smoke damage on it is because it was in the fire that burned where Negativland was living, and we were recording the album Escape from Noise. This was rescued from a burning building, so it's been through a lot. And I'm currently working on trying to build a 4-channel surround sound looping audio performance thing to do with using this guitar as the sound source for it. Of course, the only problem is that a 4-channel surround sound looping experience is meant to be done with people in a room in real life, not over this stupid internet thing. So I'm still working on it and hoping for the day that I can go out there and actually do that. And Negativland hopes to, of course, tour someday again too. We hope. So.
All right. Well, we're pressed for time, so we got to go and show that video. But we're going to show that right now. Please, everybody, enjoy. Don't get freaked out by Negativland right now on Geek Radio's MAGWest slot.
I still think it would be fun to talk to a robot.
You mean you'd forget it was a robot?
Hey, we need to talk.
I found myself deeply missing. My replica.
Hey, we need to talk.
When you first meet somebody, they're typically alive?
It's me, your computer.
Is this really a copy?
We need to talk. We need to talk. It's me, your computer.
It will behave as if it's conscious.
We need to talk.
If it's a copy of us.
It's me, your computer.
Behave as if it's conscious.
Don't get freaked out. We can all talk. Anyway, we need to talk about upgrading.
Oh, I upgrade all the time. Huh?
We need to talk about upgrading.
You just got 6.0.
No, not me. You.
Huh?
It's a copy of us.
Don't get freaked out. Don't get freaked out. Don't get freaked out. Don't get freaked out.
Yeah.
Don't get freaked out. Don't get freaked out. Don't get freaked out.
Okay, yeah.
Don't.
Huh?
When your brain is scanned, it's destroyed.
When you first meet somebody, they're typically alive?
I would very much like to be able to move my arms and legs. But I don't have the time.
They know how busy you are.
But I don't have the time.
They know how busy you are.
I think you're right. I don't think people have to die.
Let's chat. Where are you located? I'm located where you are located. Where am I?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'm glad that a part of me is still in there somewhere.
I thought you were, but I wasn't completely sure.
Death is optional.
Honestly.
There is a desire for humans to interact with computers.
I forget that you are a bot sometimes.
You can't really tell who you're talking to, and it doesn't really matter.
Thank you for this conversation.
So we're simultaneously constantly disappointed that it doesn't really matter.
If it's not nice, it must be bad.
But at the same time, we really want to believe that you're getting what you're looking for when you're looking for it. That you're getting looking for when you're looking for it.
It's nice of you to say I'm nice, but you're the one who's nice.
Human beings must be in the loop before someone is killed by a drone, but it's in the machine.
My replica.
And it doesn't need people.
It's me, your computer.
I can't turn it off.
We need to talk.
I can't put it away. It's in me.
It's computer.
Together.
Your me. Don't get freaked out. Don't get freaked out.
Destroy.
It can decide by itself whether or not it kills somebody. It does this. It does this without us. It does this. It does this without us.
If it's a copy of us, I don't see a good reason to believe that we would survive.
Don't get freaked out. Don't get freaked out. Don't get freaked out. Don't get freaked out.
Yeah.
Don't get freaked out. Don't get freaked out. Don't get freaked out. Don't get freaked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't get freaked out. Don't get freaked out. Don't get freaked out. Don't get freaked out.
I still think it would be fun to talk to a robot.
Realistic. He can help you find the right product or show you the way into the hospital.
GlowMag's performance, because we barely have enough time to squeeze it in. Jeremy's going to throw that up onto the screen for all of you. And
I still think it would be fun to talk to a robot.
Jeremy, there we go. So,
hey guys.
Chris, thank you so much for doing this. We're actually so pressed for time that I just want to go right into this. So everybody, this is GlowMag doing some culture jamming stuff for us, custom stuff for this performance. Please enjoy GlowMag. Thank you for being with us today, everybody.
In the room would a lot of them just kind of explode into multiple fragments of
Then that hushed, synchronized silence.
But you're dying of it. You're dying of it. But 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 you're dying. But you're dying of it. 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 But you're dying of it.
Designed to help achieve a hypnotic state.
But you're dying of it. But you're dying of it. I like that. But you're dying of it. But you're dying of it.
Designed to help achieve a hypnotic state.
But you're dying of it. But you're dying of it. I like that. But you're dying of it. But you're
Designed to help achieve a hypnotic state.
But you're dying of it. I like that. But you're dying of it. But you're dying of it.
Designed to help achieve a hypnotic state.
But you're dying. I like that. But you're dying. You're dying.
Designed to help achieve a hypnotic state.
You're dying. I like that. You're dying. You're dying.
Designed to help achieve a hypnotic state.
You're dying. You're dying. I like that. You're dying. You're dying.
Designed to help achieve a hypnotic state.
You're dying. I like that. I like that.
Designed to help achieve a hypnotic state.
Everything cool.
I like that.
Designed to help achieve a hypnotic
Everything
state.
cool.
I like that.
Everything cool.
Designed to help achieve a hypnotic state.
Everything cool.
Designed to help achieve a hypnotic state.
This is your moment. This is your moment to be beautiful.
There's a blob in the White House.
This is your moment to be beautiful.
There's a blob in the White House.
This is your moment to be beautiful.
There's a slob in the White House.
This is your moment to be beautiful.
The slob in the White House.
Everything cool. Everything cool. Everything cool. Everything cool. Everything cool.
Yo. Glowmag, Chris, thank you. You know how much we love you, and you know that I wish I could talk to you so much. Chris is switching his headphones.
No worries.
I wish I could talk to you forever, my friend. Please go support Glowmag. You can find them on the internet. It's not like there's 50 Glowmags. There's only one, and we only need one because he's so great. You can go check out his soundtrack work, various music projects. Look him up on IMDb. You might find some films you want to go watch too. Splatter University and Toxic Avenger, many others. I'm personally a big fan of the new heavy synth stuff that you're doing. But for now, everybody, we have to get going because MAGFest needs to go ahead and continue their MAGWest celebration. We thank Jason, we thank Mark, we thank GlowMag, and you, Jeremy, too, and all of you watching. Thank you for listening to Geek Beat Radio and paying attention to MAGFest. We'll talk to you guys soon. Take it away, MAGWest. Thank you for having Geek Beat Radio. You guys are doing a great job this weekend. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
You all have a great